Everything is growing, changing, and evolving, even you, from the student nurse to the baby nurse, the veteran nurse, off the bedside and into entrepreneurship. You have arrived and you have evolved. So, welcome to the Evolve Nurse Podcast. I'm your host, Keish, and let's get right into this episode. I first like to say this was a wonderful episode with Miss Lorna, the nurse mom fashionista. And she spoke about so many things from her journey in RN school to becoming an LPN and how she has flourished in her career. And I'm telling you that you should understand that you can do whatever you want to do. If you want to achieve something, go for it and you will achieve it. Because guess what? It's out there. So if you're an LPN and you're feeling discouraged, or you're an LPN school and you're feeling discouraged, this is the episode for you. I promise you, it's the episode for you. And for those nurses who are feeling like, I don't feel any individuality outside of nursing, tap into that little girl in you who love to play with baby dolls, who love to sew their own clothes. Do that, because guess what? Outside of being a nurse, you are a person, you are a human. So let's get right into this episode with Nurse Lorna, and I will catch y'all on the back end. Bye. On today's episode, we have a Jill of many trades, and she's mastering all of them. From nursing, consulting, and being a fashionista, she shows that life is bigger than just being a nurse. It's pouring into your identity outside of the career. Not only is she pouring into professionals to position them for better opportunities and helping them build confidence, she's looking absolutely fabulous while doing it. Let's welcome Lorna, the mom nurse fashionista, to the Evolved Nurse Podcast. Hey, Lorna, how are
Hey,
you?
hey, girly, how are you? Nice to
I'm
meet
doing
you in person,
nice.
virtually.
Yes, nice to meet you in virtual person, even though we're in the same city. One of these
Right.
days we are going to get together. But as you know, my first question to everyone who comes on the podcast, did you always want to be a nurse?
Yeah, actually, I have. I'm a little different. I always was excited to the child that loved going into the doctor's office. Whenever I had doctor's appointments, I was excited. So, because I love kids, I love helping people. I used to ride on the back of my dad's bike and be like, I'm gonna be a pediatrician when I grow up. Because that was actually my official goal, was to be a pediatrician. So yeah, I have always loved nursing.
Okay,
Always
so
been a
what made you decide that you no longer wanted to be a pediatrician?
Actually, I attended a magnet program school in high school, and I did the CNA. And one of my instructors told me how long it would take to be a pediatrician. I was young back then, so in my mind, I was like, oh, But she was like, you can always be a pediatric nurse. You could be a NICU nurse. And so that was actually my next goal in going to nursing school. I wanted to be a NICU nurse. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what did your journey into nursing look like?
Oh, child, let me tell you something. I have learned that don't ever make your own plans, because God will have a better plan for you. So my initial goal was to be a RN and become a NICU nurse. That's all I wanted to do. I love babies and I want to care for sick babies, and so that was my goal. But actually, I started out in RN school. I actually did a year of RN school, and I ended up failing like the ATIs. Some schools do
Mhm.
HESI, some schools do ATI. And I had to retake the semester over, and I was very sour, very, very discouraged, and I didn't do well. And I ended up being dismissed from the program. But I had an amazing program director, because, she could have just dismissed me. But she sat down with me because I actually wanted to quit. I was done with my nursing career. I was like, I'll just go back into doing clerical work, because I was a unit clerk before that at the hospital. So I was like, I'll just go back and do something clerical. And she was like, no, you should look into LPN, look into our sister school up the street. And so I got dismissed after my birthday in May. 2 weeks later, I was accepted into the LPN program, and I completed the program and passed my board. Completed the program the next May, passed my boards that August, and my career has taken off since then as an LPN, and it took off in a way I never imagined for myself. Even now, where I am, almost 15 years later. So yeah.
15, that is a wild, and I know so many people who they start out in the nursing program, they get dismissed from the nursing program, and they give up on themselves, like completely,
Hmm.
because when you don't recognize that nursing is a whole new world. It's a jungle out there.
It's
Like it
child.
is it, and really you have to have some mental fortitude to even put yourself back into a LPN program, because the PTSD that you have behind even attempting to be in nursing school again, that really weighs on you. So I'm glad you went back to school. Like, I'm glad you was
Yeah,
like, okay, and pull myself out of it.
yeah.
I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, looking back, it's like, dang, like I never thought about it that way. I just always had goals. I was a single mom of one at the time, and my daughter was like 5. And I just knew I had goals. And
Hmm.
so when my mind is focused on something, I want to do it. But I was very discouraged. I'm glad God placed it on her heart to talk to me, because I did not. I was like, you mean to tell me I did a whole year? Then this must not be for me. That's how I felt, like maybe nursing wasn't for me. So thank God for her.
I'm telling you, and luckily you have those people placed in your life at different journeys of your life so that it can propel you forward. Because without those people in your ear,
Mm,
without them telling you, hey, listen to your inner, because God is letting you know, hey, go ahead and do this. But everything else is so loud. Like being a single mom is loud. It's like, I have a child to feed. At this point, like, what am I going to do? It feels like everything just came crashing around you because this was your end all be all.
you better preach. Yeah,
Like
girl.
that,
That's what it was.
that was.
That was, yeah, that's all I wanted to be. That was it.
And I'll tell you one thing about moms in nursing, because I wasn't a mom when I was in nursing school, but the moms who were in the program had some dog in them, honey. So when you turned right back around and got into the LPN program, you didn't see anything. You had to get it. You
Yeah. I
had
was
to
just
get
like,
it.
I was just doing what I gotta do. Yeah. You're right.
Yes. So how was your LPN journey?
My LPN journey was totally different. I was more disciplined. I knew you can't be going to play. We used to have study groups in school, and we it started off studying, then we wasn't strict. So I said I can't do that. I have to stick
Mm-hmm.
to, yeah, all that talking. I had to stick to my studying plan. I actually changed my studying habits. Nursing school, it's a different study type of studying. And so I didn't stay up all night studying. I made sure I listened, took my notes, and then I studied what I had to, and I went to bed. I actually rested a little more because I was like staying up all night studying. I wasn't retaining any of the information. So I
Mm-hmm.
did that differently. And actually, it was a little easier, especially the first term, because I had already did fundamentals in pharmacology and all that. So that was pretty much like a breeze for me. But still, I had to do the remainder of the program. And so I just knew, like, this time I'm really sticking with God, and I'm doing less partying because I was way younger then, so I was partying and stuff. But I was like, no, girl, we got to stick to it. We got to do things differently. So it was a little better because I had already learned. So I had a foundation. So
What
yeah.
was what were some successful study techniques that you picked up once you decided to make that change in your life? Because I know it's a lot of students out there that are struggling right
Mhm.
now. They don't know how to study. What did you find helpful?
I found that I don't do well in study groups. I have my brain works differently. Like I could come up with acronyms for the weirdest way, like the weirdest acronyms. Um, Writing, I know for me, because I learned a lot of different ways. So I'm a visual learner. I spoke up. And so, some of the instructors would stay after with us and do tutoring. So I made sure I spoke up, and I made sure I took notes when I would be like, because I was a home health aide in nursing school. So I literally would be like teaching my patients, like I'll be talking about what we reviewed at school. That was the way for me to like relearn the notes. My mama and sisters and all them, like my family knew a lot of nursing because I would literally like try to reteach it so I could retain it better. So I did that, and then I actually did not like the ATI, but that is what helped me. I learned a different way. Like I would go back to it, and I would study it, highlight, and that is actually what helped me throughout the program and ended up helping me actually in my boards of studying. So I know everybody is different, but I did visual learning, um, highlighting, but going back over my notes, and flashcards did help me. So like when I had downtime, if my daughter was like just playing, I pull out my notes and be studying. And she was old enough, like she used to literally come to my room if I fell asleep. Mama, aren't you supposed to be studying? Why you not doing your homework? So she
Your
knew
daughter, you were
like
terrible.
Yes,
Get
like
that done.
she knew what I was supposed to do, so I would do that, and that helped me a lot. So hopefully those tips are helpful.
And I think they will be helpful. Many people will try to attempt to be in those group nurse like study groups.
Hmm.
And I found that for me, I could not do it because when
Yeah.
you go into study groups, you need to be prepared before you get there. And a lot of times
Hmm.
you go to the study group and you're thinking that you're going to get prepared while you're there. But a lot of times it is a lot of talking. But what I found very, very vital for me. I was listening to some inspirational speakers because, honey, I needed them during nursing school. And Les Brown said, you cannot look at people in the face who have anxiety. So I stopped talking to people on the day of the test.
Oh, that is so good.
I told all my nursing school friends, I said, look, we cool. I like you. I love some of y'all. But
Hmm.
when it comes to test day, I'm not going to talk to y'all before the test because it's so much anxiety around testing. Everybody's talking about what if this question is on the test and they telling you this. And when you get on that test, you're remembering what they said, even if it was wrong.
Yep, yep, that's good.
I'm telling you, I put my little headphones in. My favorite song at the time was J. Cole Motivate.
I love that song too.
And I was in there like, I'm not looking at nobody. Everybody in here is scared.
Hmm. That
It's
is good.
nothing. It's nothing that we can do for each other right now. We just got to thug it out.
Right. That's good. And I think I did that, but unconsciously I didn't realize I would do that. Like in the mornings before a test, I stay in my car longer. Like I try not
Hmm.
to go on into the classroom. I try to stay in my car as long as I could, or like go in a little, little area where we had lunch and stuff so I could keep to myself, like pray. My granny used to give me this saying to put, she literally would tell me, put this on the top of your test. I don't care. She'd be
Hmm.
like, say, help me, Lord Jesus, just put that, at the top of my test, and I had to clear my mind because another study tip, I stopped second guessing myself. I stopped second guessing myself.
Yes.
That I when I stopped doing that, like I was like, girl, you know it. It's there.
Hmm.
If it comes to your mind, you know it. So I stopped second guessing myself. That helped me tremendously with my test. Cause I'm like, I knew the answer. Why I ain't put that? So
Hmm.
yeah. Or select all apply. So
Baby,
yeah.
the split out that apply was
They would kill you. Oh
what's the first thing that you should do? What's the priority? And then when you first start in nursing school, you like, ain't first and priority the same thing?
right. See? Oh my God. It's like you have to rewire your brain when you get to nursing school. It's totally different.
Yes, yes. I was literally just talking to my little cousin the other day because she is gonna be starting nursing soon, and I was like, basic school core classes, memorization, reiterate. You as long as you can memorize, you're fine.
Right.
But when you get to nursing school, you need to know how to apply the information.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to
Mm-hmm.
think through those steps. And that's why, like you said, AIT, the Saunders book, all of those that break down the disease processes, assessments, all of those
Mm-hmm.
things are really good because you can actually think through the process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great
But
tips. Yeah.
and I'm
They really test your comprehension to make sure you really understand. You have to understand the why, the reason, the rationale behind it. My
mhm,
daughter, when I decided to go back in 2019, I only had two prereqs to finish to get into the RN program. And I was taking this class and she said, Mama, you are thinking too deep. And I said, girl, well, for years I had to think like that in nursing school. And then as a nurse, it's my brain is wired different. She was like, you are thinking too deep. It ain't even that deep.
it for us it's always that deep.
It's always
It's
deep
it's
for us.
always that deep. It's always like, but why? But why? But why? But why?
Right,
It's like
right.
your
Yeah,
baby, but why?
right. Girl, whoo. Yeah,
So
our brains are
what
different.
So once you graduated with your LPN, where did your journey start? Where did your nursing journey start?
With the babies, with pediatrics, I went exactly where I wanted to go. Yep. So I worked for a home health company where the critically they're stable enough to go home, but they still may be, on vents and everything. So I work with the kids like that up in I think for like 2.5 years, and then I transitioned into doing staffing, which worked perfect because I started having more babies, my own babies. So then the staffing worked good because they would send me out to different areas, but I was pretty much tell them when I want to go to work so I could
Mhm.
work as much as I want, be off. So I like that. And that actually opened me up to a lot because they had me doing everything. They had me doing, I worked for like an adult daycare center, filling in for nurse, which I didn't even know they had nurses there. And then I did a lot of community health nursing, and so that exposed me in that area, which I didn't know I liked. And then they had me going to hospice, and I was so scared to do hospice, and it just opened my eyes and my heart up. I loved
Mhm.
it. I loved it. I did a few hospice with peds, but I told them I didn't really care for that. I don't want to do that. But I did a lot of adult, but it, yeah. And after that, everything just, my career just started flourishing. And I tell people all the time, like, we start down here, but everything builds upon each other in your career. You don't realize it works out that way, but yeah.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you're able to show people that they can do it with their LPN degree. Because
Yes.
so many people think that, having an LPN is no reason why you should have it. Why should I even go back to
Mhm.
school? Like, why am I going to LPN school when I can go to directly into RN school? And a lot
Mhm.
of people don't understand that the financial stability that you get from going to get your LPN and then transitioning or bridging, that can help. But even if there are still so many career opportunities for LPNs.
So many. It's even more now. It's so many. That's why I created, actually in 2020, I created a private LPNs group for only LPNs on Facebook,
Okay.
because a lot of people, they don't, it's called LPNs only. Because a lot of nurses in 2020, when I started my first fully remote job, a lot of nurses on my YouTube channel, they'd be like, "Oh, you can do that kind of work as LPN?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so one of my colleagues was like, "You should create, something for that." And I'm like, I don't know if I want to be over nothing like that. But I
So
created it, and it was beautiful because people could see, like, it's so many opportunities for everybody out here. I mean, it's amazing. So yeah.
it is, and so many people, they have the thought process that, LPNs are being phased out. And of course,
Mhm.
in magnet hospitals, they are attempting to phase out LPNs, but they're
Mhm.
phasing them out by hiring LPNs and then putting them into school to get their BSN. So they have like 2 years to go
Mhm.
to even start school. So a lot of people have that misconception that, if I want to be a RN, I can't be an LPN and work at a hospital, so I'm not gonna have a job.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. That's what they think. That's what they
Mhm,
think. Or they think they can only go to nursing home. And I'm like, no, it's so many opportunities.
mhm.
Nothing wrong with nursing home. We
So
need we need nurses in the nursing home, but yeah, it's so many other areas.
and I'm glad that you have that group. So if you are a LPN and you're looking at this episode right now, go over to the Facebook, go over to the Blue app over there and follow LPN only on Facebook.
Mhm.
Make sure that you're following them so that you can see that it's a whole new world out there for you.
Mhm.
I'm glad that you talked about it because I'm telling you, that is so important.
Yes, yes, girl. Yeah. A lot of people don't know.
So
It's a lot. And that was
that
just a little bit of my career. That was like the beginning where I stopped at.
okay, let's keep going. What's up?
Okay, okay. So then I did hospice, got pregnant, and I thank God for my little kids, because if it wasn't for them, my path would have went totally different. But because I had them, I had to find jobs that fit them. I had 3 kids in daycare, and then I had my oldest was in middle school. So I had to find where I can work, those long hours. I couldn't, if I didn't have people to depend on and pick my kids up and be home with them while I'm still working long hours, I had to find jobs that worked in that field. So I went into like clinical coordination. I was already good in home health. I went into home visits. My friend found a job for me. She was like, "Oh, this job paid $30 a visit," and this was in 2016. So I was like, "Oh, that's good. That's like $30 an hour." What you say, girl? I said, "Okay." So I jumped on that, and at the time, I had another lady tell me about. She was like, "I'm looking for some instructors to precept CNAs for our PCT program at a college." And I was like, "Okay." She said, "You think you interested?" I was like, I don't know if I want to do anything like that. I don't want to be teaching people in front of no class, and I may have students like how I was as a student. I'm thinking all this stuff. And so I was like, "I don't know." And she was like,
Normal.
"Well, come and interview." Girl, I was like, "I don't know." Girl, well, when I got to the interview, they tricked me. They was like, but it was for good. It was like, well, we don't need anybody to work on the floor now doing precept, and we actually need an in-class instructor. And I was like, okay. And it actually was the best thing. It turned out being the best thing because I didn't realize how much I love to instruct and teach. So
Mhm.
I was able to like actually teach the PCT and the MAs, and it was amazing. It was an amazing time, and that opened me up to other things. I went into clinical coordination at the home health agency where I used to do home visits. They created that position for me, and then I was able to go out with the marketer. So I didn't even really know about marketing and stuff. And the marketer was like, "Oh, can you go with me to the ILFs and the ALFs and talk to the geriatrics about COPD and all this stuff since you used to instruct?" I was like, "Yeah." And then I would go out with her, and I'm like, I like what she do. I like marketing. That opened me up to a telehealth job. Like every job literally just built upon each other. And then a telehealth job, they cut that position, that clinical coordination position. And so then I had to end up finding other work. That's a whole nother story in itself, Lord. That's when I learned that every nurse, I don't care how well you think you're secure in your job, to always have a plan B, C, D, and always be
Mhm.
already established with a staffing agency. Because I'm thinking, oh, I'm a nurse, I'm gonna always have a job. And they cut that position, which meant I didn't have a job. And they sent me back in the field, but then they started cutting my patients. And it was horrible. It was at the end of the year, so Christmas was coming up. I mean, it was a time like the police was knocking at my door to serve me eviction papers, no lie. Because I didn't understand, like, you need to have a backup plan. So that's when I learned the skills that I teach as a career coach. I actually had to do those skills for myself, positioning myself, applying to several jobs, and then positioning myself, fixing my resume to tailor to these jobs, because I was looking for jobs that work with a schedule. So this wasn't like a nurse, you could go get a job tomorrow as a nurse, but I was looking for jobs that fit my kid's schedule. And that's when the telehealth job literally fell in my lap. The hiring manager, she called me and she was like, "Hey, I found your resume on Indeed, interview for this position." It was a hybrid role. And that's when I started learning about remote nursing. I didn't even know that was a thing back in 2017.
Mhm.
So it opened my eyes, and I was like, oh my God, it was everything I needed. Like it was perfect. Excuse me. And I did that for a couple of years until I was in a place where I wanted to go back to RN school, and I had an opportunity to. So that's why I stopped doing that. But it just really, I feel like every obstacle that I went through in my nursing career actually brought me to a better job, in a better place, in a position where I could help other nurses, because I didn't realize it's other nurses was in my shoes, just me getting on YouTube complaining. And they'll comment like, "I'm a mom, I'm a nurse, but I'm not a single mom, but I'm a wife." And I'm like, so it's still hard being a parent. Like being a mom and a nurse is hard. It's hard. It requires us to work long hours caring for other people while we still have a home to take care of.
Mhm.
I started helping people just in 2019. I just started helping people. Oh, y'all, all these jobs is hiring. Oh, these are the kind of jobs we could do as moms. So I started creating mom nurse videos, mom nurse fashionista, but started creating videos for moms who are nurses. And that's not the typical bedside jobs, but you can still work with your patients in some way, because we're going to always help patients, even if we don't have to put our hands on them. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like we will forever be helping people. But I'm so
Forever.
glad that you talked about not having job security.
Mm-hmm.
Because what do you do when you're at a job and your license is on the line?
Oh, that's good. I see that a lot. I see that a lot in my group. I don't
I
play
just
with
quit.
jobs like that,
I
because you're
just quit
not
a
going to put
job.
my license on the line.
I
Work
just
too
quit a
hard.
job because my license was on the line. So what do you
Good
do?
for you.
Yes, yes. So what do you do when the job is not compliant? You don't know what to do. You're looking around this facility and you like, I worked hard for my license. I cannot let my license be on the line for this company because at the end of the day, they're gonna always choose themselves. So you always got to choose yourself. So
That's
I'm
it.
glad that you talked about having backup plans, having a plan B, C, D, E, F, G. You
Listen.
need to have several plans, several black backup plans. Be with a staffing agency, like you said, because if you need to pivot, you need to
Mm-hmm.
pivot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand how serious that is, because when stuff goes bad at a job, you need to know what you need to do to get out of there.
Girl, that's good. Yeah. And that's what I tell people. I remember making a post in 2017 talking about my new telehealth job and saying how many applications I filled out. And I never forget this one lady, she commented and she was like, "You couldn't have filled out all them applications." I'm like, "Yes, I did." No, but I did. And at that time, I was a nurse for 5 years. So I had that experience. I'm like, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a piece, baby. This is going to be real easy because I got the experience. I done did all this different stuff, and it was crickets. It was crickets for a few weeks. And to me, that was hard because we used to just getting into a next role. And so I had to take my time, look at the type of job I wanted and refix my resume. And the more I put myself out there, and I call that positioning. It's no different than any other area in your life. You position yourself. And I applied and I started having so many interviews. I had to do a pros and cons list to pick the best position. And I said, this is nothing but God. And I am big on faith. Like a lot of people who follow me know that. And a lot of it was my faith. Like I feel like God put me in that area to see how far and how much I can trust God. And that is what really helped me, because even during that time I was going through other mental things, like just my kids were little back then. They were like 2 and 3, and I'm trying to care for them, my middle schooler, and trying to get a job, and I got to take care of a household. So my faith really helped me with that. But I sat down, and I always say, make your request known to God. I literally sat down and wrote out everything down to God. You know how much money I need to make, because you know I love my weave. I literally like talk to God like,
Y'all
I
let me
like
know
my
you.
fashion. I like the thrill. I need to take care of my kids and be able to save and pay my bills. Like I literally, and God gave me that and more. It just worked out perfect. So I feel like, yes, it's always important to have a backup plan. Always a couple of backup plans.
Yeah, a
Mm-hmm.
couple, because putting in all them applications, honey. And I feel like if we applied for positions that are normally available, but you were moving up. When you
Mm-hmm.
move up that ladder, you don't want to go into a position like the position like you just left. So now you're putting yourself in a position to where you're like, hold on. So I'm going to apply for these jobs because these are the jobs that I want. These are what I'm looking for. And, you're applying for them, but like you said, it's crickets. Or if you're on
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, you see 100 people apply for 'em.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's so, girl, I probably have put in 100 job applications in
Mm-hmm.
the past
I
2 weeks.
believe it. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they easy to apply for. It don't take a lot to apply, but it does get a bit discouraging because I'm
Mm-hmm.
going into management roles. So, management roles are hard to get into, especially with us being Black, us being women in healthcare. And so
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at those, I'm like, I can go, it'll take me 2 seconds to start back working at the nursing home as a unit manager. 2 seconds. All I got to do is put that application and I get a call tomorrow.
Yes,
But is
yes.
that where I want to be? And that's when you speak about positioning. Where do you want to be?
Right, right. And it's so important. Positioning, like you said, you'll get a job like in 2 seconds. And I know that's the hardest thing, even with my clients, even when I am vetting, because I also vet to make sure that my clients, we are a good fit. I find that because nurses are so used to getting a job like tomorrow. But
Mhm.
when you're trying to go into higher roles or going into outside the bedside, you have to position yourself differently. Now you have to make sure like you're being intentional when you're applying. So I even tell people on LinkedIn, when you're looking for certain positions, to see if they have a hiring manager attached. Like it'll say meet your hiring team at the end of the job description. Sometime reach out to them. Make sure you're following the companies. Make sure you are because I literally had a recruiter reach out to me and say, "Oh, I see that I saw your profile. Your profile matches our position, and I see that you're following us. That lets me know you're interested in our company." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I am." I mean, but yeah, and so it's very important that you do all the things. That we take it back old school. Old school. I used to call places like when I first was a nurse. Like I would, it was way back in 2011. So I used to call and I used to email and follow up, making sure you do that. You can do it differently now because we now have the platform, so you can now go into these managers and recruiters DMs. You can follow the recruiters. And so then that way, and another secret I learned too on LinkedIn, if you put in a job, if you put in a certain job or just a title, the hiring managers posts will pop up. So sometimes the hiring managers are posting not as a job, but just making a post saying they're looking for somebody, and to directly message them or email them. So those are good too. And that's just a part of the positioning I talk about. You have to get yourself out there because they don't know how dope you are. They don't know how amazing you are. And so you got to get yourself in front of them, in front of their face, and stay active. It's just like any social media page. If you're not active on your page, then your page is just going to get lost. So you got to stay active even on your LinkedIn's and on your Indeeds or whatever other search engines you're using.
When I tell you, I am so glad that you said that because I recently had a recruiter reach out to me about a job position. And
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you, it's so important for us to stay on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
respond, all of the things that y'all need to get into her community. First of all, please, please one-on-one consult with her because if you are
Yes.
out here in these streets like us and you're trying to make sure that you're moving up the career ladder or going lateral even, you need to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you are one positioning yourself and get her as your consultant. I'm just saying, get her as your career coach so that you can you can better yourself and understand the techniques that you need to even be able to pivot into any other area of nursing because like we always say we evolve as nursing. It's so diverse out here,
It is.
so her moving into telemedicine, that's a hard industry to get into.
And I didn't
Talk to
even
her.
realize it then. Yeah, I didn't even realize it then. I remember when I first found a position on Indeed and it was to monitor the patients that were getting dialysis from home. And I was like, oh my God, you mean to tell me they could get that from home? That's amazing. So I applied to that position. So when the manager called me for the telehealth, I thought it was for that. So I was like, yeah, I'm interested because I thought it was. Girl, I had never applied to that job. Like she found my resume on Indeed, and once I kept talking to her on the phone, I'm like, this for what? For telehealth at a home health company? I didn't apply for that. And yeah, so yeah, telehealth is amazing. It's
First of
and
all,
that
it just
opened the
shows how
door.
many jobs you applied for.
Yeah, girl.
And it just
Yeah.
shows how many jobs you applied for. Because when I pick up my phone, I never know who calling me.
You
Like,
don't
which job are you talking about? I don't know because I applied to 100 jobs.
right.
I have no
Really.
idea. I have no idea. But let's talk about the fashionista portion of the nurse mom fashionista. When did you realize that you had a love for fashion?
As a child, my mom she bought me a sewing machine. It's like it was for kids, and I used to make my baby doll clothes. And
Hmm.
then like I love Barbies. Like I love Barbies because I could do the hair and all the different clothes. Like I could just sit and play with my Barbies forever. And that was my love for fashion started as a child. Like that's I said before I was a nurse and a mom, like I was always a fashionista. That's just always been close to my heart. And I look at my pictures and I say, well, mama, this the reason why. Look how you used to have me all dressed and stuff, my hair. And my granny used to just take me to the mall. We used to go to the mall just to get cookies from Great American Co. and to go window shopping. Like that's what my granny would do. We would do that together, and she would sew our clothes and make our stuff. So like, I have always been around fashion. It really helps my mental health. Like I can literally go in my closet and just put outfits together, and it makes me happy. So yeah, fashion started when I was a little youngin' child. Hmm.
And it's such a beautiful story because having your mom be the start of your fashion career and your grandma like, hey, let's go on all we getting is some cookies, but you can look.
Okay. Right.
So not only did your love for fashion happen when you were younger, you also have a love for thrifting.
Yes.
Now,
I
I'm
love
gonna tell you now, I cannot go to a thrift shop. Something about a thrift shop gives me gastritis. I told my friend this the other day. I said every time I have to go shopping somewhere and I really want to shop, I got to use the bathroom. So
does
I
to
never
me.
can get through. It does. I
Really?
thought I was the only person.
Hmm. No, I've always been like that. I think it's like some kind of anxiety, but I get excited. And so yeah, that does happen to me. I remember telling my mom and sisters that, and it was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I
I think I
always
was the
get.
only
I guess
one.
it's my nerves, and I get excited and stuff. But yeah, my stomach get like that. No lie, it does. I just say I be
Wow.
excited.
If y'all are a part of the gastritis gang, put it in the put it in the comments. If
Listen,
you get gastritis when you go shopping, I want
okay,
y'all to reach out to the gastritis girls because
the
it is hard out
gastritis
here.
girls club GG. Oh gosh, that's
It
funny.
is so hard out here because I love thrift stores. I actually want to like start, sewing my own clothes and doing all of that stuff. But every
Yeah.
time I get into that store, my stomach go to rumbling and I don't return.
Dang. Oh my God, girl. Yeah, I feel you. I be ignoring. I be like, let's go look for these clothes, child. Come on now,
You be
stomach.
like,
Get it together. Let's get it together.
look, no, you better hush. You better hush. So, when it comes to your fashions, what would you say is your favorite type of fashions? Because I see you in some very unique pieces. What is your favorite fashion style?
I think my favorite fashion style is vintage and dainty. I'm very prissy dainty, but I love vintage. Like I used to love my grandma's her clothes because I love old people clothes. Like girl, when we had to go when I used to work at a nursing home or when we was in clinicals, I love getting the old people like getting their outfits out because I love older clothes. Like just put me back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I like that I can find like clothes that nobody would want, and then I can mix it with modern and make it look different. So, yeah, that's like probably my favorite. That's why I like to thrift too, because I started thrifting way before I had my kids, but I like to thrift because I don't really like looking like my mom would call them see yourself stores. Like when you go in a store and you might see somebody else in the same outfit. So I like to be different. I always like
Yeah.
to stand out that way in my fashions. And then thrifting just came from also wanting the fashions but can't afford it. It was a time I couldn't even afford thrift stores. So I like to just be different and also on a budget. Cause I go to a clearance. When I go in a store, I run straight to the clearance rack too. So
Mhm.
like I'm just a budget nista, like a budget fashionista. So
So
yeah.
you a good place for some clearance, like vintage. It's not gonna be vintage from the vintage age, like a thrift store, but
Hmm.
Kohl's. Kohl's.
Really?
When I used to work at Kohl's, and Kohl's, whenever they mark their stuff down, get it out of
Hmm.
season,
Hmm.
and you can find a lot of really like nice tops. They do all the patterns.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, thank you,
Go
girl.
in there. Go in there
Oh
and
my
go
God.
right to that clearance section because that's where you'll find some real gems in there. Because I like to wear, very geriatric styles as well, some
Hmm.
vintage, I have been called a grandma here and there. I love a good high-waisted trouser. I love a
Love high
turtleneck.
waisted. I love them
I
too.
love a good turtleneck. But I don't know how to dress. So I have a best
Hmm.
friend who is she's a fashionista as well. And she started like pairing my clothes together for me. She was like, "Okay, Keisha, you need some basics."
Yes.
Yes, she was like, the reason why I can't dress, because I don't feel like I couldn't dress back in the day, because I feel like I always had
Hmm.
like a unique style. But she said, when you're in uniforms for so long, like if
Hmm.
you're only wearing uniforms, you often do not understand your unique style anymore.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. That's
And
true.
baby,
Because we
when you in
always
the OR, I go
evolving.
from yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And so your fashion evolve, your
So
style that you
what
like. If you used to like comfort with the scrubs, then it's like, shoot, I just want to throw on anything because I want to be comfortable. Because you
Mhm,
used to being comfortable with the scrubs. Yeah.
mhm. And then like I'm going from like regular scrubs to the OR scrubs, regular scrubs to the OR scrubs. That's just my uniform every day, every day. And so I really have to think so deep into what I wear, but I feel like I have decision fatigue because I'm deciding all this stuff everywhere else. I don't even want to think about what I have to wear. I want to
Right.
just
Right.
pull it out, just pull it out. So, what are you wanting to do with the fashionista portion? Like, what do you do?
I'm glad you said that about piecing your stuff together. So I love we love to heal as nurses, but that's another thing I'm very passionate about women. And so I love to help women heal even through their appearance and their confidence. So I actually started doing that. One lady, she's actually a nurse, and I went to her home and I revamped her closet. But what I did was I showed her, she wanted me, she was like, I shop so much, but I never feel like I have anything. So I pieced outfits together with her shoes. And she was like, I had that in my closet. You know, it was funny to see her reaction. But that's what I like to do because it's so much in our closets, but we don't even think how to put them together. I take the time. You probably don't, you don't have time to put stuff together. So that's what I do, so that it's easy, like you say, to just go in and pick your outfits. You already had outfits. So I do closet transformations, wardrobe transformations. Maybe you want a couple of basic pieces from the store to go with whatever you have already. So I also provide that, as well as personal styling. So you may want a specific outfit for an event or whatever. And so I go out and we can go together, or I go out and I do that. And then I also do personal shopping. So where you may feel like you need some looks, but you don't want to, you don't know what you don't want to go, so then I go and I pick the outfits for you. But why that's different, because anybody could probably just go online, but a person may not even know where to start, and I may can go to a specific store and I can stretch her budget even farther because I know how to put pieces together off a clearance rack or whatever. So yeah, that's what I want to do at my fashion. That's what I'm doing with my fashion now. I want to heal the woman, through bring that inner woman out, through their confidence. And it also helps with mental, because you may not feel like how the energy may be down, but now that I've gone in your closet, put outfits together for you, you could just grab. And I've taught you, because that's another thing I teach too. Like, hey, if you got that piece, just throw it on, try it on. And I do that too. So if we're there at the home, I have you try it on so you can see how the outfit actually looks on instead of just hanging up. So yeah, we have our own little personal fashion show.
Well, Miss Lorna, we are this, and I feel like as long as it is, I'm looking at the time, I'm like, we are already at 40 minutes. That's crazy. It does not feel like we've been on here that long, and I've enjoyed our
It does.
conversation. But what is one piece of advice that you would give to our up and coming LPNs or nurses?
To remember your why and why you started nursing school,
Hmm.
and to always try to build a support system. I know it's hard, but even leaning on the people that's in the group with you. I know we leaned on each other, the students, but don't think you're alone in it. It's always somebody else that can help you, or maybe in the same situation. But make sure you have a team, and make sure you always remember the reason why you started, because it's going to be hard. It ain't going to be easy. But yeah, just remembering your why, and staying faithful. You'll get through. You'll get through.
You'll get through, you'll look back and you'll be like, dang. I look back and
Yep.
I'm like, it was only 2 years.
Wow.
It was only 2 years. I was only in school for 2 years. It felt like 10. When you in it, it feels like so much longer than what it
It
really
does.
is. Now, where can they find you?
So you can find me on Mom Nurse Fashionista on Instagram, as well as YouTube and TikTok. And then you can find me if you're a nurse, you're interested in elevating in your career, having issues and moving, feeling stuck, want to avoid burnout, less stress, looking for something different but don't know where to start. LB Career Coaching is where you'll find me at on Facebook and Instagram.
Did you mention that your Instagram, you have the Mom Nurse Fashionista Instagram as well?
Yes,
Okay. So y'all follow her on all her social media. And if you are like me and you can't dress, you get gastritis when you get out there in the streets. You can't go thrifting because your stomach be talking to you and you don't be telling it to stop. You need to get with her ASAP because you deserve to feel like your best self. And
yes,
so also, like I said earlier, get into the LPNs only group if you're LPN and go out here and make this money because it's out there.
it
It's out
is. They
there.
waiting.
They are waiting on you to put in your application. They're waiting on you
Hmm.
to follow up. And like you was talking about earlier, I said we need to bring back dropping off resumes at these people jobs.
Yeah, because stuff gets so lost. It gets so lost in the systems.
Yes, AI is tossing out people's applications. You're not even making
It
it to the
is.
hiring manager's desk. I
Nope.
say put your shoes on, put a cute outfit on, and go introduce
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. I totally say that all the time. I agree. Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
with that being said, I hope that you all laughed at this episode, found gems in this episode, and I hope that all is well with everybody. I know it's a extremely heavy time right now, but we're gonna make it through like we always make it through. But with that being
Always.
said, you are ending this to the graduates. Congratulations, you made it. You made it. If you haven't been able to find a job yet and you're an LPN, I want you to get with her. I
Yes.
know
Yes.
some people, I need y'all to get with her. If you are a RN and you have not found a job yet and you need to get into a residency, you can email me. I can help you with whatever you need, send you wherever you need to go because there are some really, really great residencies out here and you need that foundation before you get onto the. So with that being said, I hope y'all have a wonderful day and we'll see y'all later. Y'all catch us on social media. She's on social media, I'm on social
Yes.
media, and we'll see you in in the virtual world. And
In the
maybe we'll
virtual.
see each other
In
in the
person.
virtual like
Yeah.
in person cuz she down the
Yes.
street somewhere.
Right up the street.
But right down the street. But bye y'all.